is Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. I'm bringing you my Throwing Shade Eyeshadow Roulette, and I am just going to go ahead and get into the little tutorial that I did so you could see the shadows that I chose last month in action. Last month in action, and this is the look that I did, so if you want to go ahead and watch it, here it is. So I already went ahead and primed my eyes. I used the Ulta Primer Potion in Champagne, and I used the Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. So I'm going to start with my MAC Burgundy x9 palette, and I'm going to use this right here, which is Poppy Seed. I'm going to just take a flat shader brush and kind of just set the primer a little bit, just to make it easier to blend. I normally don't use this shadow, but we're going to use it today, and I'm using my viewfinder, so this is going to be really interesting. I'm going to take my blending brush, and then I'm going to take the same shade Poppy Seed, and I'm going to put that into the crease.
The fire's gone, I'm opened out, the embers have gone dry. I don't need your love to carry on. I don't need your love to make me strong. No, I've got courage to guide me through the dark. I've got courage to follow my own heart.
Next, I'm going to take this Essential Crease Brush by Real Techniques, going into my Carly Bible palette, going into this shade right here, and I'm going to just go ahead and deepen up that crease some. Take this same brush that I put in Poppy Seed, I'm just going to go ahead and blend that out.
At what cost? At what cost? I don't need your love to carry on. I don't need your love to make me strong. No, I've got courage.
Next, I'm going into my Urban Decay Quad, and I'm going to take this shade right here, Sidecar. One of my favorite shades. I'm just going to go all over the lid. actually last, I'm going to take my Urban Decay Deluxe Shadow Box. And I'm going to take this shade right here, Peace. And I'm just simply going to use the same brush, only I'm going to use the other side. And I'm going to kind of just put it right there. Actually, this is not the last shade. Whoops. The last shade I'm going to take is this one right here. And this is just like a pinky purple shade. I don't have my pencil brush in front of me, so I'm going to take this little, just the flat shader brush. This one is by Mary Kay. I'm going to take the edge here, and then I am going to go into the Carly Bible palette again and just kind of dip it into this shade right here. And I know that's there. I'll fix that off camera. You'll see. It's kind of bugging me, but that's what happens whenever you use your viewfinder. I'm going to kind of use the same method, only I'm going to be using Sidecar again. And I'm going to put that in my inner lower lash line. Now I'm going to go ahead and go off camera and fix this up a little bit and put on my mascara and eyeliner and everything else, and I'll be right back. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down and talk to you about each of the shades. And first of all, I'm just going to get the bad out of the way, and that is this pinky shade right here. It is from an indie company called Hot Mess Beauty, and I love their shadows, but this right here, I just felt like it didn't have any pigmentation, and all that was left was the glitter after just a minute or so of application. I'm not sure if you could kind of just see that, and it's just not a very, I'm not a big fan, so I'm going to actually declutter this. And now let's just get into the so-so stuff, and that is from the Deluxe Shadow Box by Urban Decay, and this shade Peace right here. As you can see, I do have a dip going on that shade, but that doesn't matter. This right here is a little bit patchy going on, but you can build it up, and you know, the fact that it got messy right here, that was completely user error, but it is a little bit patchy. But I don't mind this shade at all. Most of the time I would put it in my lower lash line, and a couple times, you know, I did exactly what I did today, and that was put it on my outer corner, and I absolutely loved it. Next, we're going to talk about the MAC Burgundy ×9 palette and the shade Poppy Seed. And this shade right here, I absolutely love this as a transition shade. I don't think it's a good shade at all to set your primer with, but hey, I was willing to go ahead and give it a try, right? So I do love this shade. I think it is a perfect transition shade for me, so definitely a plus. And the next is my Urban Decay palette, the little quad thing, and this shade is called Sidecar, and this is my all-time favorite shade from the Naked palette. And I just love this, and I'm so glad that I put this in here because it's just, I just wanted to keep on working on it more and more and more. And I think it's so beautiful. A lot of people talk about the chunky glitter and the fallout. I don't really experience that. Maybe it's just not some people's thing and it's my thing. I don't know, but I absolutely love it. Now, as far as the Carly Bible palette goes, you guys know I love this shade. And I love this palette, I should say, and this shade is just perfect as a crease color for me. I love this. I love mixing these two together. I loved mixing these two together, but obviously this one is gone. So yeah, it's beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert pictures of the looks I did over the month. There were only a few that I did that I posted on Instagram, but we'll go ahead and we'll talk about them. Okay, this first picture right here was my first look that I did with the Throwing Shade shadows, and what I did, I have it up on Instagram right now. I used obviously the Carly Bible shade in my crease and the pink shade on my inner lower lash line, and I decided right then and there that I was going to go ahead and declutter it because it just left glitter, and the pigmentation again, it just wasn't there. And so honestly, I did not use it again. I don't think I used it again. I also took a piece in the middle of my lower lash line. That was something that I love to do also, and it just gave you just the right amount of pop of color. I took Sidecar over top of the pink shade in my inner lower lash line since the pink didn't show up. And yeah, that was my first look. This second picture right here, I went ahead and what I did was I put piece on the lower outer lash line. So that is the one thing that I did different, and I did, again, I love pops of color in the lower lash line. That's how I prefer to use color. This last picture, which I will insert right here, I used the piece in my lower lash line and on the outer edge of my lid. Of course, that was whenever I was in front of the mirror and it didn't get everywhere, instead of looking at it at that thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. I also used Sidecar in the middle of my lid as well, and in every single one of my looks I used Poppy Seed as a transition shade. I used that shade every single day as a transition shade, and I absolutely just adored it. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I chose for my shades this coming month. Obviously, I went ahead and I went to random.org and I did this off camera just to make it easier. I have to plan, as I explained before. So, random.org chose 5 numbers for me. And the first one is number 10, and that is Star Wars. The next one is 155, which is Pan's Labyrinth. The next one is 183, and that is Aquaman. The next one is number 57, Flower Garden. And then number 110, New Americana. So I will be right back with those shades. Okay, I have my items, and there's a couple things that I decided, and sometimes you will be seeing repeats of shades because either I have pan on them, and well, there is a lot of shades that I have pan, but there's some that I just don't want to work on right now, and some I do, and other ones I just simply enjoy. So if there is repeats, there are repeats. So we're going to talk about Star Wars, and for that I decided to choose my Urban Decay Moondust palette. And I am going to go ahead and go with this shade right here, Vega. And I want to work on this some. I do have pan on it, and I know, shockingly enough, this is not going to be my Pan's Labyrinth, but I do want to see the type of looks. I was getting really aggravated with this palette for a while, and I went ahead and set it to the side, but I just want to go ahead and see what I could do with this without an aggravated mind. For Pan's Labyrinth, I decided to go into my MAC Burgundy x9 palette, and I chose this shade right here, which is Antiqued. This is a gorgeous shade, so I want to go ahead and showcase that. That's one of my favorite shades. In fact, it is my favorite shade in this palette. I just think that it is gorgeous. Out of this whole palette, this is the shade that I would actually buy a single of. Next one is for Aquaman, and for that I am going into the Vice 3 palette. My wonderful friend Lainey gave me this palette, just gave it to me because she's nuts, but I love her. And I am going to go with this shade right here, which is Freeze. I'm going to go ahead and give that a swatch for you. It's just beautiful. I know that that is a really bad swatch, but this is really, really pretty. The next shade for Flower Garden, I went with a Makeup Geek eyeshadow, and this is called Secret Garden. And I've never used this before. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a swatch. That's what that looks like. So, I mean, I think that that is just, it's really pretty, but I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but we're going to go ahead and find out. I have a feeling that some of these shades I'm only going to be using once. But that's kind of the point, right? That's kind of the point of the whole thing. And then for New Americana, I'm going to be diving back into my Kat Von D palette. And I'm going to be using this shade right here, Blue Sapphire, and this was in a previous project, and yeah, there's no pan or anything like that. This is so pigmented, and I do enjoy this shade a lot. I just never quite figured out what I was going to do with it, so I want to go ahead and mess with it some more and see what I can do. So that was my update for throwing shade and my intro into next month. So I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a lot of fun filming the tutorial. I'm trying to get into the whole tutorial thing, even though I don't really know what I'm doing. I have fun. I have a lot of fun doing stuff that is different on my channel. So it's definitely something that I'll get used to. Plus, it keeps my brushes clean. I had to clean my brushes before I did it. So be sure to go ahead and check out everybody in the description box below and see what they are picking for throwing shade and what they used, and just follow around for the fun. And if you want to go ahead and join, you are more than welcome to. So I hope that I see you guys in my next video. Bye!